Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at Gridiron Studios Flight Pod Mech Lower half, and that is these legs, everything that it comes with, including the helmet and the detail that is on the helmet. So anyway, we're going to get into this. We're going to see how it looks, see how it fits on. So if it's something you're interested in, you can head on over there and pick it up. I know they just released the upper half. So if you like mechs and you're into mechs, this might be something that you're into, especially if you have the flight pod, trouble bubble, whatever you want to call it. And there are a couple, and let's be honest, they'll probably do more. And I mean, Hasbro will do more, so you can use these if need be. Now, when I did have Mark from Gridiron on the Streamathon right at the beginning, so if you wanted to go watch that, you can head back over there and check it out. He did say that they were working on their own mech. And during the process, they said they've been working on it for quite some time because they needed to work on the tolerances, see how it fit, how it wouldn't just fall over. And I've had a big 3D printed mech, a couple of them, and the tolerance does start to just fall. They're heavy. And he said that while they were doing it, his son had noticed, he works with them, that it looked like he could modify it so that the trouble bubble could fit right onto it. So in theory, we should be getting their own mech eventually, but they said this is actually what they were working on when they noticed that the legs that they already had done and they had figured out, they thought they could put a trouble bubble on it. And then I think the whole vamp thing came up, so it kind of got pushed to the side. So it's taking them a little bit of time because you would have thought this probably would have come out a little bit sooner, but it kind of makes sense because the vamp and the stinger took up a lot of their time and resources. But we're going to get into it right here, see how close the color matches, and see exactly how it looks. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you like Gridiron stuff, I give you a lot of Gridiron videos, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop one of these. Now let's get to it. All right, so we got this thing out. I think this is going to be fairly easy to put together. So as usual, we'll look at the accessories that it comes with, and the first thing it comes with is this helmet. All right, now we've seen this helmet before. They've used it, or something very similar. Now this looks like it is all just one mold. So you don't have the visor that can come up and down. They normally have that, but this is meant to specifically work with this. I'm assuming this little eyepiece here, which is going right over it, is meant so you can control it, see exactly probably where the gunner's going. You got your microphone, your headset here. The design on this is really nice. I am surprised that there is no paint to it. But maybe they were just going for an all gray to just match this, but usually they do some. So I can't say that I'm disappointed because it looks good, but it looks a little bare. We have Gridiron Studios there, the GS, all the little rivets. And again, the design on this is absolutely wonderful. And it should be pliable enough that I can fit it on a Cobra Trooper. Now, you're not going to be able to use this on a Televiper because the Televipers have big heads and big helmets already over it. We have these, I believe these are 3 different types of guns or cannons. The G.I. Joe Mauler had something very similar. I don't know if they're flares or not. Again, you are able to plop a couple things in there. We'll just leave that one down there for right now. I do wonder if, what is it? Not heavy metal. The Iron Grenadier that comes with all the rockets, if his rockets would actually work in there. Because if they do, that would actually be pretty cool because they have the blast effects. Then we have these 2 pieces right here. Then we have like a skull here. And then we have a little lightning bolt. And I do like the fact that the lightning bolt has some design on it. And you can tell I think that's, you know what? I take that back. If you have this, let me know, because looking at that, it looks like this printer was having a few issues before it finished. Because I'm looking at this here, and this one is nice and smooth. At first, I thought it was supposed to have a textured design. And maybe I'm completely wrong, but that just doesn't look like what I'm used to with Gridiron. So please, if you have this, put it in the comments and let me know so I can contact them if it's something that needs to be, well, replaced and redone. All right, so here we are. We can take a look at this thing. And here is the treble bubble. And I think the color match is pretty good. This is more of a gray, but I think it's pretty close. It's going to be hard to ever match anything. Now looking at this here, you have all these nice rivets here. The legs do not move. As much as they look like they're supposed to, these are stabilized in one position. So you can't get it to walk. Now they do move here, and they're extremely tight. So you can move it around here on both sides with no problem. All right. You got some nice red here, a little bit of gray. We have the X. And if I remember correctly from Render Boy, that's where I actually got the mech that I had printed up. He had X's on his too. I don't know if that's like a mech thing or what. Looks like we have a little bit of vents right here. But again, the design and the detail is there. All right. And if you like mechs, this might be something you're really into. Now these things here, they just kind of pop on like that. So if you don't want to have the cannons on it, you don't need it. And then they come off nice and easy. And they're keyed a certain way. So you can kind of move them wherever you want. If you want them firing down, they are not going to articulate up and down as you're on that hexagon, I think it is. All right, so now we'll quickly take a look and see how the flight pod goes on here. And what we have here is a couple slits. And this thing is going to slide right up here. Or at least it should slide right up. Oh, it drops down and then it slides up. So it's kind of going to lock right into place. All right. And then with the gun right down here in his, good Lord, I'm not even going to say what that looks like. But you guys can figure out what that looks like. It should not move. You shouldn't have to worry about this thing falling off, and it is tight enough that you don't have to worry about it falling over or anything. All right. So quickly, let me go grab this little piece. Oops. This piece right here. Throw that there. And through the magic of camera work, I went and got one of these blast effects. And unfortunately, it is too big. They will not fit in. It would have been nice had they been able to fit in, or maybe they gave you something, but you're not going to be able to do that. You always seem to think things are going to fit a little bit better to you. Get them in there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we'll take this Cobra Trooper, Cobra Infantry, I forget which one this one is. All right, and we're going to see about sliding this helmet on him, see how he looks. And be careful, you might have to heat it up. This thing kind of went right over that, so that actually looks pretty sweet on him. I do wish it had some color. I'm not going to lie. A little bit of color really would have set this off. Having the headset, maybe some black here, the visor black. Just my personal opinion, but I guess you can go ahead and do your own printing, or printing your own painting. You shouldn't have to print anything. They just did it for you. All right, so here we go. Should probably move this up. And as these things get bigger, it makes it harder to review everything, as it's just everything seems to be in the way. So we have our nice little seatbelt as we've started to learn that G.I. Joe and Cobra both seem to be very concerned about safety. I guess OSHA is all over them. So there we have the helmet on them. Hands up on the sticks. And then we can pop that thing on them. So this thing's not, you're not going to have to worry about this thing falling at all. You're not going to be able to get them on one foot. But you can, I think, assume, I mean, you can make it look like it's running. Now, when I was talking to Mark about this, he said that this was not so much only made to look like a mech walking, but also a place for this thing to land. So let's say the Trouble Bubble, which seems to have some pretty powerful jets, it can land, let's say, in a jungle, and it can kind of walk through the jungle. It doesn't always have to be up in the air. All right? But I know a lot of people were excited for this. They're huge mech fans. I am not a huge mech guy. But it does just slide right in like that. And let's say you want to take off. Just going to pull this thing back. And then it just lifts right off. All right? Comes right down. Right out of the way. Just kind of got to move that. Well, it kind of ceases to become a gun and kind of becomes a... Well, you know. If you watch Gwar, if you know Gwar, then you know it's a giant phallus. And I'll just leave it at that. So we can pop these things on here. And you can see the changes that you can do with this. But anyway, the legs do not move. Do here, articulation stays the same, but we can articulate it back and forth. And it is a really nice, tight fit. So you shouldn't have to worry about getting loose and it falling over back and forth, which is one of the things I know that they said that they definitely worked on to make sure that was not going to be a problem. All right, so there you have it. That is your Trouble Bubble Mech Lower half from Gridiron Studios. Again, I think the legs look really nice. These look nice. I think the helmet looks nice. But I gotta be honest. And again, I look at that and it just doesn't look like it was filled right. It looks like maybe the filament, the printer was failing. They didn't notice it because that is two different colors of printer. Putting in filament. And, you know, hey, I will have my buddy who ordered this. Again, I did not buy these. Who have to contact them and send them pictures. But the one thing that I have learned is that Gridiron, Mark there, the whole family that takes care of them, because it is a family-owned operation, they are really good with taking care of QC issues. Hopefully this will be no different. I don't see why it would be. But I think you have enough details on whether or not this is something that you want to get. I will leave a link to this in the description. So if you want to run over there, just click on that. Say, hey, I really have to have this. You can get it. But I am going to get out of here. But please, if you're on social media, if you're on Facebook, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a Punk with Toys. That is a Facebook group page. Also, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Gridiron video, which has been a lot. And I think I'm getting the arms also. Now I'm going to go. Now, don't go anywhere, please. Up here is going to be one of the Gridiron reviews that I've done, and down here will be a playlist of all the Gridiron stuff that I've done. Take care.